Well, hello, my people. STEM to Roots. This is your host, Mike Demba. I promised that the short story series of STEM to Roots continues. So I am here in flesh, in my suit, on a hot night, ready to go. You know, um, the things that I do for you guys. All right, like, subscribe if you like it. If you don't like it, just go ahead and comment. Just let me know by telling me, Mike, you can do better. Every day, every single day, hundreds of Africans travel away from the continent as tourists, migrants, students, many other reasons. They find themselves in a faraway country where, expectedly, a whole series of things are done differently: culture, norms, environment, just how they go about life, like simply different. Now, I know we are all in agreement that it's only right that we make these necessary adjustments in order to assimilate, blend in as much as possible. All right? Like the saying goes, if you go to Rome, do as Romans. Thank you for helping. But wait, not entirely, not entirely. And here's my story. I'll tell you why. Um, I got here in the US in 2004. It was January 2004. And I got here on a weekend. I think it was a Saturday. All right, Saturday or Sunday. When I got here, um, I think the next day I was supposed to go for orientation. So I had to go to school. My university, located downtown Boston, actually in the heart of downtown Boston, where our buildings, it's not even a campus, it's just a bunch of buildings, a bunch of story buildings where we had our classes. And so, in an environment like that, when I just got here, first day of class, I'm following, a map that was given, some guide that was given on where to go for your classes and meetings and stuff like that. My very first day at school, I got on the elevator for my friends in England and all the English colonies, including Gambia. That's a lift for you. I got in one, and around me there were other students. And immediately, my training, my background, where I come from, what my norms are, what my culture is, it had to reflect. And in that case, what was that? It was me acknowledging the presence of other humans around me because they were that close. They were all around me. And so there I was, big, wide grin, uh, uh, smiling at everybody and saying hi. Because where we're from, most African countries, but specifically I'll talk about Gambia, it is very, very rude to be in the presence of people and not say hi, not acknowledge their presence. Whether you're walking by, whether they're just that close, whether somebody's sitting next to you, it's only right. It's just part of our fabric, it's part of our culture to actually let the person know that you see them by saying hi, by acknowledging their presence. If it's in the morning, you say good morning. So you have to do that. That is how I was brought up. So here I was, that was oozing out of me. I had to say hi to these people in the elevator. This is how things went. When I did, by looking around and saying hi, hi, crickets. Everybody in that elevator was looking at me like I had four heads or something. That was the longest four floors that I had to go. And I thought it was just for that ride. And so I let it go. For the rest of that day, because everywhere I had to go to, I had to be in an elevator or I had to be around people. There I was, just being me and being, that person that I was brought up to be. I was just there, just saying hi to everybody, trying to smile and let them know that, I see them, right? But it was getting weird because at some point I didn't know what was going on. It was just different. You know, people were not accepting of my greetings. Like as a stranger, I later got to find out, that around where I was in that city of Boston, that's just not how people behave. It took a while. It took a while for me to understand that. um, Actually, whether it was even outside of school, whether it was on the train, on the bus, you're sitting next. I was taking public transportation a lot. I sit next to somebody, I say hi, and they look at me like I want something from them. Actually, this happened to my roommate then, Babs, who came, to this country at the same time as I did, and he got on the train, and when sitting down, some lady came next to him where he got up to let her sit, and she was so pissed at him, basically interpreting that as, what, you think I'm weak or something, you think I can't stand, so some weird reaction that Babs was so confused by. And maybe he's just a sensitive guy. He wouldn't like this, but maybe he was just being sensitive, because that changed him, because he said that that's never going to happen to me again. I'm not going to let somebody else sit, because I know what my intention was. I didn't want anything from this lady. So we started to change. This actually started to, we quickly adjusted, to the environment that we were in. Because I properly recall this. I recall living somewhere. We lived in an apartment complex that was a couple of miles away from the train station, and so as part of our community, they had a shuttle bus that dropped off people that went to work or that went to the train station every morning. So there was about 3 trips early in the morning that go to the train. I remember living in this place for 7 years. 7 years, getting on the same bus with the same people year after year after year, and nobody will talk to you. So these are not strangers anymore. You live in the same complex, in the same apartment complex. So they see you walk around, they see you in the evenings, they see you, like, you go to the same supermarkets and stuff like that. So it's not like they've not seen your face before, but nobody talks to you. So these were the kind of things that were around us that was beginning to change us, right? And I'm sure I have other people here in the US who will say, well, Mike, that was not our experience because maybe they don't live in Boston. Yes, and I can acknowledge that. Because my very first trip to North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina, I remember going to a Home Depot. And for those that don't know and don't live in the US, a Home Depot is this huge store that has kind of like home goods and all that stuff. I remember going to a Home Depot, and this is the South, so it's different from what I was used to or what I already adjusted to, which was Boston. I remember going into the store, and some lady that walked to me to help me, somebody that worked there, just came and had this broad smile and went, "Hi, baby," with the Southern accent. You finding everything okay? I had to catch myself in, stepping aside and looking at her like, what does she want from me? Right? Which, prior to my Boston encounter, prior to that adjustment that I was beginning to make, that would have been normal. So I had to catch myself and go, all right, she's just saying hi and being helpful. And that was when I realized that, living in Boston as long as I did was beginning to change me. Now, these changes that we are forced to make, right? We're not supposed to come to a place that is different and change everything about us. There are things about where we are from that we should never change, regardless of where we find ourselves. I believe you should continue, to be, yourself if it's a positive thing. If it comes from, like, a place of love, if it comes from a place of being humane, like, saying hi, a genuine smile, and to send positive vibes without, expecting the same in return. Be kind, be nice, be helpful. Like, those are not things that we're supposed to change. It doesn't matter where you go, you know. So you can go to a new place and assimilate, but everything that's good about you, everything that's positive about where you come from, should not be dished. It doesn't matter, right? So you can say hi and not expect somebody to respond. Do not change that. And that's what I realized, right? And that's just an example of the things that I expect us Africans and immigrants, to maintain no matter what. And that reminds me of something that I am a big advocate for people to maintain, which is, their accents. If you have an accent like me, you're from Africa, maintain your accent. All right. Your accent you take everywhere with you, because it's not something you can just take off and just, put aside. So you should never ever be ashamed of your accent. That's my opinion. So it's not like you're speaking the language wrong. Let's say English. It's not like you're speaking it wrong. You're just uttering the words differently based on what your accent is, right? I am all for accent reduction. I am all for putting effort into communicating, well, so that you'll be understood, because you do want to be understood. So when somebody doesn't understand what you're saying and it's related to your accent, I am all for you putting the effort to be understood. But actually changing your accent, living in a new place, whether it's the UK, whether it's America, wherever you are, Canada, and actually changing your accent completely. I know Africans that have put a conscious effort into changing their accent, and they're stuck between their accent of origin, wherever they come from, and this new accent that they are trying to, like, change to or adopt. There's nothing funnier than somebody who is stuck in between. Choose a freaking side, okay? Um, uh, uh, um, uh, Accents is one of them, and it irks me to see somebody actually putting conscious effort into changing their accent. All right, because an accent. Let's make this clear. Every single person in this world has an accent, because what does accent mean? Accent means wherever you grow up, however you're used to uttering words and speaking, based on what your environment has been, is what your accent is. That's why in that same country you can find different accents. Here in the US, there's differences between a Boston accent, a New York accent, and New York is just 4 hours away from Boston, and a Southern accent. Even California claims an accent. Texas, forget about it. You go to places like Alabama and Mississippi, in areas of the South, where same country, same language, different accents. So if a Texan is not trying to change their accent when they move to New York or when they walk in New York, why is the African coming to America or England and changing their accent? Why? If 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 an American moves to Australia, they will have an accent. When they speak, they will have an accent. So there's nothing wrong with that. When an English, because like I work for companies that have a lot of, like, I work for companies that are based in England, where I have co-workers that are British. They're not putting any effort into speaking like an American. They're just being themselves. And it should be the same for every single person. That's why I love my Jamaicans. They don't even they don't even try. So we should be able to maintain our accents. That's one of the things that we should not be changing, as long as you put effort into being understood, because Communication is essential. This is my story for today. These are the kind of things that I want to talk about. If you're interested in sharing your story, like I said, please reach out to me so that you can share your story here on STEM to Roots. Till next time, because I can't wait to hang out again. I got more stories. Bye bye now.